Okay, so here we go. My mom... Oh God. My mom died on Mother's Day. This is really hard for me to do right now. But I'm at my mom's right now. And here I am walking past my dad, who died in 2020. And now I don't have any parents. Alright, I really don't know what to say, to be honest. I've been kind of thinking through the last couple days, and for some of you who don't really know, well, really probably all of you don't really know what my channel is, I follow the moon and I pull a random word and I kind of let it guide my month and what I talk about for the month. And grounding, I'm gonna tie that to my mom in a second, and dad actually, but grounding, wow, it's so, well, look at me, I'm in nature. I'm green, beautiful trees, wildlife. That is a part of it. That is a part of grounding for sure. Huge part of it. Got a text message. We get information that my mom isn't doing well. She had to go to the hospital. She had a stroke, and then had she had a blood clot in her leg, and then in her brainstem, and so then she didn't have oxygen go into her brain, or blood go into her brain, and then she was unconscious, and that's the state that I saw her in after that. So I took a flight in right away on Friday to come here, and I want to kind of explain my mom a little bit. My mom is like the best person in the world. And I feel so sad that I didn't get to talk to her before she passed away. The other day on Thursday, I wanted to call her and I didn't. And there are some things that I feel very guilty of. You know, she even had a little post-it note about digitizing her VHSs and her film from childhood and our childhood. Two older sisters and a younger brother, and so it's funny, my sister brought it out yesterday, and just seeing this bin of all this stuff that I've completely forgot existed. I forgot we even had cameras. I thought I didn't have memories of my childhood, and here we have this insane amount of stuff, and it's kind of crazy. My mom is just the kindest, most loving person, patient, and non-judgmental. And we were talking about it, and my mom really is. She was an angel in training here on Earth, you know, and I think I know she definitely passed, because oh man, there's so many things I'm learning just in the last few days. And my mom was just a very kind person, and she's always been patient, and she's always just I took for granted a lot of who she was. She was always here for her kids. That was her only mission. That was her soul's purpose, and to be here with her kids and be here for her kids, and we all know that. I mean, I don't talk to my brother really at all. I mean, he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. My oldest sister, I haven't talked to her in a very long time, until Sunday when my mom died. yeah, but I was there with my sister, who I grew up with. We had a very close life together, a childhood, and we were together with my mom and a lot of friends and family coming to visit. My brother and older sister were able to speak to my mom as well. So it was a really beautiful last couple days for her, and she really held out. We have a funny moment. She, oh man, I think I'm gonna play a video in the beginning, maybe as an intro or something, or maybe I'll show it now, of my mom and who she is and what she would say. She would always say, "You're a pain in my Heiney," and she said that to all the medical people, everybody that helped her. She said it to me, her family, friends, everybody. Everybody knows, you're a pain in the Heiney. And and so we on Sunday she passed away at about 10:10 p.m. and I basically Friday I just stayed in the hotel, and I couldn't go to her house, who my sister's taking care of and has been staying with my mom. I couldn't go there because I couldn't be there without my mom, and now here I am. But she always said, "Oh, you're a pain in my Heiney," and right at around 10 o'clock, I'm dozing off on the bed. My sister's kind of like getting a little bit tired, and the nurse comes in and she says, "Hey guys, I just want to let you know that her her vitals, or I don't know what it's called, is dropping. So just want you to be aware." And so we got on both sides of her and just saw it dropping. Saw our oxygen get to like 30. And she slowly dying in peace. But we were talking about it, and my mom always said pain in the Heiney, and we know she loves her kids and doesn't want to inconvenience us. So we thought that she just said, the nurse came in and my mom's trying to go away like without us knowing, and then I could imagine her being, "No, what are you doing? You pain in the Heiney," and just like trying to come back because she wanted to go while it's turning nighttime. But yeah, I think she really wanted to hear us talk, and it was really hard for me, and it's hard for all of us, and I know it was hard for all of my siblings. I know it because we all love her so much, And the crazy thing is that we didn't grow up really saying "I love you," That wasn't something that was in our family, to just say "I love you." And I know for some people it's maybe shocking, or some people understand that. But yeah, we didn't really say "I love you" growing up. And to be honest, it wasn't until my dad passed away when we started saying "I love you" more. And to be honest, a big part of that is my wife, who I'm so grateful for, and she was able to be here as well, which is amazing. But yeah, we never really said "I love you" growing up, and so my dad passed away, and we started saying "I love you" more to each other, and my mom would say goodnight and send little gifts, whatever, every night and every morning, "Good night, good morning," to all of her family. But also, we found out on this trip, also all of her friends. She would send, so her day was spent just communicating with others and just showing love to everybody all the time. And that's just who she was, just a loving, caring person. And so I want to start talking about grounding, actually. This is something that I really learned. Now, first, I want you to understand that my entire adult life I was atheist, and I had a spiritual awakening when my wife and I moved to Italy in 2023. We started eating better. I discovered meditation, which really opened my mind up to something completely different than what I was expecting, and kind of shifted my thoughts on reality, honestly. But and I found my guidance into what you're seeing right now, which is these videos. So if you go back to any of my videos, you'll see you'll see what how my spirit, my higher self, has been guiding me. But yeah, I call it my higher self. You know, there's a bee. Oh, did you see that bee somewhere? I call it my higher self. I believe in something more than what we have here on this earth, and it's interesting because like even with my mom passing, and just seeing how although her consciousness was elsewhere, I could tell that she was there. Now that doesn't completely just explain everything, but that just talks about the feeling that I had in the moment, but and also this energy that I felt. But spiritually, I've become much more spiritual and connected to my higher self, which is, I believe, the best version of me. And so when I had a spiritual awakening, it was this. I like to envision it like everything is a wave. Everything is a vibration. So on this current timeline, I feel like at that moment I was feeling love. I was loving myself. I felt more aligned with my practices. I was enjoying working out. I was enjoying meditating 2 or 3 hours a day. I was enjoying not being on my phone and all these things. I felt very connected with myself. When I was thinking at that time, I was at the highest, like this timeline, this version of my reality. I felt like I was at the top, the peak of it, in this kind of vibrational frequency, right? I was at the top. And if you think about like how the next timeline or the higher version of you, the next version of you, as you keep getting better and improving in life, I felt like the lowest version of that one, I felt like it intersected. I feel like there was a split second, about 3 or 4 seconds, that it intersected. Something shifted, and I looked at my phone, and something amazing happened. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I don't. It could have been I won $1 million, or my investment portfolio went up a lot, or maybe my YouTube channel went up like crazy, and people were like, finding me or something. I don't know. So I had this thing, and ever since that moment, I was declining. And I didn't ground myself. Because I had expectations, and the expectations I had were, okay, I'm doing all these things. I need to continue doing it. I need to be disciplined. I need to put out videos. I need to write. I need to do all these things, but the results weren't showing. And we think that results should happen right away. We think that, okay, I'm doing the thing, so why isn't it showing up? And I do believe in manifestation. I do believe in having a vision. And I think that when you have a vision and the thing that you really want in life, when that becomes so clear and you become connected and you start having the discipline to your inner work and you're being consistent, that vision, and you keep visualizing it and thinking about what that is, when that becomes clearer, the path to get there, one, it becomes clearer as well, but also you're guided in that way. And whether you believe it's God or your higher self or spirit guides or whatever it is, I consider it my higher self. I consider it God. I consider it spirit guides. I consider it my spirit. Whatever it is, you can consider whatever you want. I think it's all of the above, honestly. I think there's a lot involved. Whatever you believe, I do not judge, and I do not say you're wrong, because I don't think anybody truly knows. But I think that when we do have an understanding of self, I think we're getting closer to that. So I had this downfall of just being so hard on myself, and that, I didn't meditate today. I've been meditating for 2 hours, 3 hours. I didn't even do it today. And I just kept going down and down. And then a year later, I'm like, okay, I need to make this video. And it was 1984, and I made it. And then I'm back here, and I'm like, yes, okay, I finally finished this video that I said I was going to do for a while. And then nothing happens, and that was on my other channel. And I was hard on myself again. And then I went on another decline. And then I decided, so then on October of last year, I decided to do, because I had this idea of pulling a random word, and I didn't know what it was going to be. I knew that it was just picking a random word so that it can kind of like guide me throughout the month. I knew that was the concept. And October of last year, I was like, I'm going to start this, and I started doing it. And I realized that, because I was like, I was worried about starting it because I knew I had to be dedicated to it. I knew I had to commit to it, and I had to do it, I didn't have to, but I wanted to do it every week, and at that point I was like, I want to make a video every day, but that obviously was unrealistic. So I posted, or I pulled a word, and it was alignment. Unbelievable. And I was like, I was so blown away that was the word, and I was trying to figure out, it was like, okay, well, I need to talk about it, and I couldn't figure it out. So then, like, 4 or 5 months later, I realized what alignment was, and it was that I needed to embody alignment. It wasn't something where I just talk about it. I needed to embody it. And then I realized, okay, and I started thinking about what I'm trying to do, and that's why I came up with Temple Not Content, because I wanted this to be a temple for my mind, for my body, for my spirit, for my soul, for a place that I'm building a temple. I know that I'm a builder. I know that I'm good with my hands. I like working on my motorcycle, cars. I've never taken my car to a mechanic. Well, 1 time, 2 times maybe. But I've always done things on my own. Like when I turned 18, I told myself there's nothing I can't do, and I've just committed to just learning and trying to figure everything out on my own, which is what I've done. And so I realized that I needed to embody alignment, and when I embodied it, I realized that it took 3 things. It really did take commitment. It took being disciplined and working out, meditating, and journaling. And I'm not perfect, but you're not supposed to be perfect. You're just supposed to act. You're supposed to take action. So I realized, okay, now I know I needed to embody alignment, and then I pull authenticity and all those, right? So grounding. What I've really understood about like how our reality works, and how this is crazy. I mean, and bear with me, I don't know everything. I don't know, like, what I'm saying could be wrong, but last year I believe they were talking about quantum entanglement, and they were talking about what that represents. Quantum entanglement represents like they took an image of it, and when they took the image of it, it showed the yin yang. So like basically, I think the concept is like 2 atoms. It doesn't matter the time or distance between the 2, but they're connected in some way. So it could be in a universe, it could be through people, it could be maybe through thought, like thinking about how your thoughts are connected with other people, with anything. Just so, or like, when a twin is connected, and when one feels pain, the other one does. Or a mother and how they're connected with their kids through intuition, And so, I was thinking about, this duality of positive and negative, feminine, masculine, the contrast of each other, your shadow self and your light self. And so I've always reflected on my oh no. Okay. I've always reflected on my dad. I've always reflected on my dad and thought about my shadow self. And Carl Jung talks a lot about shadow, and I've been paying attention to my shadow a lot more. And the shadow self was always through my dad. My dad was always showing his shadow through his generational karma. I forgave him when he died, because I understood that every person was an innocent child at one point. So my dad, he kind of, his shadows were cast down onto me. And so the shadows that he carried were carried onto me as well, in a different way. Like my dad took his anger out of me. He used to choke me. He used to spank me. He used to hit me with a belt. He used to hit me with other things. He threw me off the roof. He screamed, yelled at me. He looked at me with such anger. A lot of things that kind of shaped the shadow version of myself here on Earth. And I always knew that my mom was the one who is, now I realize, is the light. So there's the dark, the shadow, and there's the light. So there's the polarity there. And now we can talk about polarity in this world, and I will at some point. Right now I'm not, but think about the polarities in the world and how you need to understand the darkness. You need to understand the negatives and the bad things in order to get to the point where you are embodying the light. And my mom has always embodied the light, and her shadow I really tried to think about what her shadow was. I don't know if she had a shadow, to be honest. She was just so forgiving, you know? And I'm just thinking about, like, no matter what, when I was younger, I used to have a little bit of resentment, and I talked to my sister about this. She did as well. We had a little resentment about my mom staying with my dad, but she did it for us, you know? She stayed with him for us, and she also loved my dad, you know? And my dad abused her, you know? He did verbally, and early on he did physically. And it's not okay. It's not okay. But we have to have empathy, and we have to have a heart for people that we don't understand. We have to not just put ourselves in their shoes, but we need to really understand that everyone is living their own life, and everyone has their own perspective, and they have their own things they're working on. And although my dad was not perfect, and he had his really kind, generous, amazing, funny side, and then there was the really dark side of him where he would get really angry, and he would take his anger out on people, his family mostly, but also road rage, and you know, and everything like that. So this is still recording. Okay, cool. 30 minutes. Oh geez, I'm sorry guys. Ooh. I don't even know who's still here. Oh, this has been 30 minutes already? Okay, well I got half a battery, so let's see how this goes. Yeah, so my mom represents the light, and I'm realizing that now, and you know, when I think of and by the way, like, I've never been perfect, and I'm looking at these home movies and stuff. So my mom wanted to digitize it, and here we are, we found a friend. She let us borrow a VCR, and so me and my sister are looking through some old footage from the 90s and 80s, and wow, it's crazy because I just look at younger me, and I look at younger me, I look at my younger version of my sister, and I look at younger version of my brother, and it really opens your eyes to some things, you know? I understand everyone, not just my dad, was an innocent, beautiful, kind, sweet child at one point in their life. And so who they are now, whoever they are now, is only what their ego, their five senses, has made them become. And I think that if you really want to balance those two negatives, positives, you know, masculine, feminine energies, and the shadow and light self, if you really want to balance those two, you have to remove your senses from this world. You need to sit down, or lay down is probably easier. Get to a very meditative state where you quiet your mind completely, and all you're doing is focusing on your breath, and remove everything else, and something happens. But when you get to the point where you're holding your breath, oh God, I love that feeling. But it helps you like feel more calm and more at peace, and like less reactive, you know? And so I think the thing I've been missing, and the thing I've been realizing, is that how would my mom react when I show sharpness to her, when my dad shows anger to her, when whoever, our siblings, if we show some form of like resentment towards her, she doesn't budge. She may feel hurt in some way, but she only thinks of love, and that she doesn't want us to feel hurt. She doesn't want us to feel any negativity towards her, and she wants us to feel calm and peace, loved, and she did that in the best way she could. And wow, I regret some things, like I said, but I'm so grateful to be here right now. I'm so grateful to be in nature and grounding myself and, you know, trees. I mean, like, come on. By the way, I brought this lens and I'm not even using it. I thought I needed it maybe I'll, you know what, maybe I'll take some B-roll and intercut it with this. But wow, it's just so nice to be out in nature. Oh, I do want to say one more thing. So when I was with my mom on Friday night to Saturday morning, I woke up at 1:30 and my wife was sleeping in the hospital room, and I was with my mom and I was just holding her hand and I was just talking to her for a couple hours. Just telling her everything, thinking about what she doesn't know about me. And it was so therapeutic just to talk to her, and I knew she was listening, you know, like whatever you believe. I mean, she was definitely listening. She was, I'm paying attention to her vitals. I see her moving. I see her. Yeah, but I was just talking to her, and I just, you know, I told her how much I love her and how much I realized that she's never had somebody. At least I can't even think if she's ever had anybody to just look her in the eyes and say, I love you, you know? And I just look at the way my wife looks at her mom when she says I love you, and I never did that with my mom. And I really wish I could have. I wanted selfishly for her to wake up so that I could just look her in the eyes and be like, I love you, Mom. I love you so much. So, yeah, I love you, Mom.
A completely different person. Get growing at Nutrafol.com.
Think I ever will get a break from this stinker? Oh gosh. Ugh. Oh, what a pain in the Heiney. Well, at least I made your day with a crazy video.